All right, aloha everyone. Happy Aloha Friday, and welcome back to another episode of Manoa Valley Theater Live. I am your host, Dylan Chase Lee, and hopefully you folks today have taken the time to reflect on the events that happened about 19 years ago on this very day, September 11, 2001. But before I get into that, let's bring out our main man himself, Kip Wilborn. Kip?
Hey, Dylan. How's it going?
Doing good, doing good. How about
Good.
you?
Doing all right. Yeah. Like you were saying, this is the anniversary of 9/11, and I think everybody remembers where they were when it happened. You probably don't because you were what, like 3?
I was 4. Thank you.
But yeah, because I was in New York, and it was quite a thing. And that day, I saw some really cool things, though. In the 120 blocks that I walked home because the subways were all shut down and everything. I saw everybody just being so considerate. There was so much aloha. It was just like, how can I help my fellow man? And we could use a real dose of that right now, don't you think?
Yeah.
So much division and everything, and as I say, celebrate what's right with the world, and we could use some of that right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So 25th. That means one more episode, and we've done half a year.
Yes, that's right.
That's right. Can't believe it, huh? Gone by so fast.
Yeah.
I guess this is one good thing that came out of 2020. Is our show. Yeah. Let me see. Welcome back, everybody. And next week, we're going to be able to give you an update, a new date for I'm anticipating this, for the Manoa Marquee Sapphire Ball. As you probably have guessed, any of those of you who had already purchased tables and things like that, it's probably going to be virtual. We really can't gather. So tomorrow we have Kathy Song and Bamboo Ridge Press in the theater, but it's going to be only streamed because we can't have enough people in the house. And in fact, we're even shuffling people in and out so that we stay within the 5-person guideline, because we're being really serious about that. And I'm hoping, I haven't sprung this on Dylan yet, but I'm hoping that maybe we'll make a little film this week about what it's going to be when you come to the theater, about what the procedures will be. And so we should have fun with that. And that's it for me. Oh, by the way, Kumu has a show opening this next week.
Yep.
And so I really encourage everybody to, go on their stream and check it out. Is there anybody else doing anything new this week, Dylan?
Not that I know of, as far as I'm concerned. The only things that have kind of updated or good news-ish is beaches are open, but if you don't have any friends, then it's perfect for you because you can only go by yourself.
Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely. Yeah, it is. It's kind of crazy. It's I can sleep in the same bed as my wife, but we can't go to the beach together. There you go. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, listen, we got a good show today. Some really great guys, and I know you'll enjoy it. And so, Dylan, turn it over to you.
All right, can do. We'll talk to you later, Kip.
All right.
All right. So our guests today are familiar faces to the Hawaii theater scene. Jay, Kamamo Bailon, and Daryl Bonilla. They have performed in shows at almost all of the theater stages in Hawaii. Daryl and Jay have the distinction of being cast in all of the Lisa Matsumoto shows produced at MVT. Daryl was last seen on stage for MVT in The Princess and the Iso Peanut, and Jay was last seen at MVT in the musical Once. And we welcome them to the show today. Please help me welcome Jay and Daryl. How's it going?
How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
I was about to say Jay and Silent Bob almost, but hey, it's Jay and Daryl. All right. So without further ado, as most local people would ask, the first question is always, what high school you went to. So what school you guys went?
Oh, is this a trick question or just we just straight up and
I
answer?
mean, if you got GED, that's fine too. I mean, right GED.
So I'm a graduate of James Campbell High School. I'm a Saber before they were a scholar school and blue ribbon and back in the day is when
And
Nice,
then
nice.
I'm a graduate cum laude, Waianae High School.
Yee. Why not? Right on. So what got you folks kind of into theater? Was it through high school, or was it something that you did first and then you found out about theater, or did you start with TV and film first? Just
For
kind of
for, for
style it out.
me, it just came through school. 7th grade, I was choosing my electives for
Mhm.
the 7th grade year, and I saw drama and I took it. I was just thinking easy A course, just something we go an easy A, and then I did it, and then like the first year in, we did a play, and I really enjoyed it, and then every year after that, throughout school, high school, and everything, I made sure to make sure I was in drama, and then right out of high school, and just kept going after that point. So that's when it kind of the bug hit me.
Nice, nice. And for you, Jay?
Ha, actually Daryl had quite a bit to do with my influence. He
Sorry.
influenced me, or I don't know, got me addicted to theater. So I actually went away to college, came back, and
Mhm.
went through days where I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I ended up taking some music classes at Leeward, and
Mhm.
that's when I realized I couldn't sing either. So in any case, I kind of linked up with some theater majors because as a theater major you got to take music, and so
Mhm.
we just clicked, and long story short, I got kind of Shanghai to fill a role in a play that they were doing at the Leeward Theater, and I got hooked. I met Daryl and everybody else that came out of that program, and never really stopped doing it. So it's been 20 plus years since my first experience on stage, and I guess I still kind of enjoy it.
Mm,
Yeah.
good. That's good. I mean, you know, if you do something that you love for a living, then you won't work a day in your life because you always, have something to look forward to when you wake up in the morning.
And
Um,
like for me, I think that's why I still do it. Like,
mhm,
I know when you're younger, you always have these dreams and aspirations of becoming famous and making it, succeeding in this industry that, 1% of us really can call our job.
mhm,
But for me, it was more of a therapy thing. I get a chance to be someone else for whatever time it is that I'm on stage and through rehearsals and stuff. And then I go back to my regular job and be my regular self and take care of my regular problems. So it's been extremely therapeutic for me, to see the least over the last 20 years or so.
right on, right on. And as I mentioned in the intro, you folks have the distinction to have been cast in the entire series of the Lisa Matsumoto shows. Um, and this was after a time when Ohia started branching out and letting non-Ohia members kind of start doing the shows. What is it like doing the Lisa Matsumoto shows for you folks?
Just fun. I remember like the first time I ever went to watch one of Lisa Matsumoto shows, and as soon as it was done, I said I gotta do that show. I gotta be a part of that kind of show. That I enjoy that kind of comedy and local comedy, and you wasn't seeing too much of that around that time on stage. So
Hmm.
so I always wanted to be a part of it. So it took a while, but then I finally got to be a part of the Ohia productions, and then when I saw Manoa Valley was doing it, then I felt like that was an opportunity for me to come there and be a part of it. Because even though I'd done Ohia shows, I hadn't done any of the Once Upon One Time shows with Ohia at that point. So that was my chance to be a part of Once Upon One Time with Manoa Valley Theater.
Nice.
For me, and I joke around with all of the Ohia guys because I always get mistaken for being an Ohia member.
Oh.
But the whole time I've never did anything. I never had the interest of doing anything,
Hmm.
So, and I honestly, the only one that I saw prior to me being cast at MVT with Once Upon a Time was I saw Bye Bye Hanabara Days, which was Lisa's her show that she had written for her theater degree, and
Mhm.
it was at Kennedy, and I just could relate to all of the characters. But at that time, I still didn't, consider myself an actor or wanting to be an actor. Or I had no desire to do it. I thought it was just something cool, like wow, they're doing something on stage in Pigeon, and
Yeah.
that's super awesome because no one had done it up to that point, So that was pretty cool.
Would you say that's kind of the attractive feature to these Litsa Matsumoto plays, that it involved a lot of local comedy? You got to hear Pigeon. For a lot of us growing up in Hawaii, we only saw like Shakespeare or plays written by American authors. But
You only saw Shakespeare in Hawaii, Dylan. What are we talking about?
no, I mean not like authentic Shakespeare, not like from
No, yeah.
but you understand what I say.
But yeah, I mean that was one of the big appeals, was that you was seeing local comedy and done in a way that was fun, was fresh, um, and you could see that the performers was having a good time on stage, and it was and that resonated with the audience. So the audience was having a good time, and that's why like they could keep bringing it back year after year and still sell out and still get new generations getting turned on to it and whatnot, because that was that, like you say, get Shakespeare and stuff, but then for local people, you'd be like, hey, that's my show, that's my kind of show. They speak like me, they talk like me, and as we know, Pigeon is all different. Everybody has all different types of Pigeon, and that's one of the things that was cool about the show, was you saw different types of tawny Pigeon, country Pigeon,
I
bad
think
Pigeon, good Pigeon, all kind of Pigeon.
I think for being Pigeon, so there's a stigma to anyone that can speak Pigeon, and it's almost like if you speak Pigeon, you're not as educated, or either it be or intelligent, because education and intelligence are two different things. um
Mhm.
that, oh, if you speak in Pigeon, then you wouldn't understand certain such and such or so and so, or you're not um educated enough to appreciate something. So when Lisa put out these shows,
Mhm.
being a theater person, you really saw that, what, it has every single element of a good theatrical performance, you
Yeah.
know. And in any case, you didn't even need to understand the Pigeon to relate to the characters, the storyline, and get emotionally drawn into the entire production. And I think it was great because it brought two worlds together. You have all these local people that never experienced theater, but now they
Mhm.
want to go out because, hey, I can relate to the Pigeon part of it. And then you have all of these theater people or that are gonna go, well, I want to see it because this is very new to me. And
Mhm.
I think it blended both worlds perfectly. And it's just unfortunate that, her life was cut short, because I think if she was still around, it would be some like crazy Broadway, neon lights kind of stuff. I mean, that's how progressive I think she was in her thinking and her writing, that it would have been at that level.
Mhm. Well, I think a lot of local artists, a lot of local playwrights, some of them have already, and some of them should, kind of take the path that Lisa kind of paved and perpetuate it. That way, there's more of our local stories being told within our community theaters. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think we need more original voices, especially here in Hawaii, and because there is a lot of people and talent that needs to be heard and need to be seen. So I definitely think, and sometimes you got to make your own opportunities and stuff. So like if you watching a lot of shows and you're not hearing your voice on stage, then maybe you take that opportunity to do it yourself and be like, hey, I'm gonna bring my voice to the stage. And yeah, by all means, I wish more people would definitely step up and do more original work and cultivate their talent.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, a lot of local people that have roots here, that are like born and raised here, that are very talented and can write. But a lot of them realize, to put together, to write a play, all right, is one thing. But then to put everything else together, where Lisa put music and I mean, there's just so much elements to a Matsumoto show that you realize, wow, it's not like I can just sit there and write in Pigeon and then develop these characters and then yeah, I got a great story. It goes way beyond that, and I think she had the talent and the imagination to bring it to that level. And I'm just glad, like, when we found out that MVT was gonna be doing Once Upon One Time, and at first I was like, but then after being in that show, I I felt like it was an extension of Ohia. And
Mm-hmm.
just by that vibe, it was like, you want to keep doing it. You want to keep doing it. And that's why every time MVT said, hey, we're going to do another Matsumoto show, obviously it's like, oh, yeah, you got to get those two guys because they can speak Pigeon first and foremost, which it's a dying language, okay? But more so, it's like you want to do it because the memories you have and the new friendships that you gain through these shows last forever. I mean, it's real friendship, you know.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that because actually in the comments, Amy Nielsen was saying it's a happily ever after reunion. We have Johnny Pastor. He's saying aloha as well. So just all the people that you meet through these shows, doing these shows, it creates a sort of family. And yeah, it's really great to kind of relate.
Yeah, and it's people that maybe normally wouldn't interact outside of theater, but it brings all these people together, and then you create this bond that lasts forever at that point. So we can all go and do our own things, but if we run into each other, we see each other. It's like we never left. You know what I mean? So it's something that stays forever. It never goes away, and that's part of the magic of Ohia. You know what I mean?
It is awesome because, like Dara had just mentioned, when you're at the auditions for one of these shows, you see these faces that you've never seen before. Walk into audition and they look scared as heck, like, oh my, what am I doing here? Blah blah blah. And then you realize that they're there because they've always wanted to do theater, but they never felt they could relate to any of the shows that were being done by the theaters in Hawaii. And here's this happy median for them. Like they can come in and yeah, we can do this. And then it's amazing how much of them stick around and then start doing other shows at other theaters that are not Pigeon. It brings out that side of them. And I think that's awesome because kids in Hawaii are, absolutely talented. We're blessed to be around so much talent. I don't know what happened to you, Dylan. What happened?
I don't know. Fine, but I'm glad that you mentioned that, Jay, because Happily Ever After for me was actually my first community show in Hawaii. And I remember at the auditions, I sat in the back. It was me and Kenny, because Kenny's like, just come. You go. Everybody's cool over there. I know everybody. But I just kind of sat in the back because I was scared. Because I saw everybody like, oh, this guy can talk more Pigeon than me. And that guy actually looked kind of like the person. I was like, But Happy Ever After, doing the show with you folks helped me out a lot. And I thank you folks for it. It was awesome to meet you folks.
Oh yeah, thank you, Daryl, so much. It wouldn't be the person that I am today.
I just gotta do my part. You know what I mean? Just doing my part.
No, but I don't know. I don't think you guys know this. So even with stand-up comedy, it was Daryl that said one day, "Hey, there's open mics. Let's go check it out." So and he had dabbled already, but we went to an open mic and it was Andy Bumatai and who was that, Daryl?
It was Andy Bumatai, and then James Mane was hosting the open mic.
I didn't know
Or just Andy performing.
Melka Bang or somebody
No,
else.
it was just Andy performing.
Yeah, so we go to this thing and we go back and forth going, should we sign up? Nah, we shouldn't. Should we sign up? Nah. And we saw some of the other guys that were there as part of the card, right? They're on the card. And then God bless them, because if it wasn't for this one guy who bombed, like I was signed up, right? And I don't know if Daryl had anything written, or I mean, I knew he had a little bit more than I did in the stand-up field. but I went up there with nothing in my head. Like I did like 5 minutes off the top of my head without even writing down anything, no script, nothing. It was just freestyle. And then they asked us to come back again, and that was part of the whole like
Stand up. See, that's the misconception for me, is that people assume I've been doing comedy, stand up comedy for a long time, and that was my first time on stage. Was the same night as Jared, and but even the host after had asked me, he's like, "Oh, you've done this before?" I was like, "No, it's my first time." But you know what I mean. But the theater helped us because
yeah.
at the very least we had presence on stage. So like even if we had no material, which we didn't. We were just kind of talking, shooting from the hip, and you know what I mean. And like I think for me, I was just making fun of the place we was at and the amount of people that was there, and just kind of riffing off of that. But having that presence that people look and they go, oh, they've done this before, because we're not showing that fear that was really inside, which was like I've never been more afraid on stage than when I was doing stand up, especially in the beginning.
And what was cool was they invited us to the and Andy invited us to his next comedy at a place in downtown. Like he asked Daryl and I, hey, you guys should come down and do this. And then I bombed that down. Like it was all older people with hearing aids.
Wait.
Like an Italian restaurant, like an Italian restaurant or something.
Yeah, like 5 o'clock in the evening where the old people eating before they go home, right? And so
Yeah.
the jokes that worked the last time did not work in this place. And I was like, I don't know if I can handle this stand-up comedy thing. Like I gotta start writing something. But yeah, it's a very interesting experience. I mean, fun and maybe a little bit scary, but I mean, I learned a lot from it. You know, it was fun. I didn't stop doing it, but it was just very interesting to have a different audience.
I'm getting this sense of a real true bromance on the both of you. You guys kind of help each other, achieve each other's goals.
Oh, we
Yeah.
were in an on and off relationship. We're on an on and off relationship for the past 25 years.
I know, but bro, like you can take the bro part. We just have a romance. I mean, it is what it is. No, we just always kind of like from the moment, because like he mentioned, like when he came in to take the spot, like for fill in for the guy who got dropped out and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I was the actor who had to meet up with Jared and kind of bring him in and introduce him to everybody and stuff like that. So from that point on, we was and then we kind of do theater, and same thing. We did different things, went certain places, and then every time we reconnected, it still was like the same old.
All these years. I mean, we had kids. Our kids are almost the same age.
Mhm.
I've known his daughter since she was a baby. He's known my kids since they were little kids. And our children grew up in the theater realm too. So it's like people would be amazed that our kids would know how to behave when they're at the theater. And I'll be automatically go, yeah, because if they start acting up, they're gonna get lickings in front of everybody in the theater. So but it's cool because like my son is a theater geek now.
Mhm.
Because he's at Kaimuki High School. He does all of the stuff, and his teacher is Mike Ing, which is another one of the Ohia people who we've been acting with for like the past 20 years. But it's just great that I feel good that I did something positive where my kids have an impression and they look at it as something positive, and then it builds a love for something that I love as well. So that's kind of cool.
What would you folks say is your most memorable moment with the both of you together?
Oh, we cannot share that on live stream.
It's not
Facebook.
for work.
On stage, on stage, I think probably the first time we really got to, because most of the shows we did, we was in scenes, but not really in scenes until maybe we did what was it, Park.
Was Ala Park, yeah.
And then we got to be on stage like with each other the whole time. Like we played, we was 2 out of 4 friends. And then like Ray Bumatai was the narrator and the reminiscing about his childhood friends and everything. And so we really got to play and do some really cool stuff in that one. It's the first time we really got to do a lot of scenes together. Because even in our Lever stuff, we did scenes, but because he was doing so much different characters, you never really get a chance to really do some really good character work with each other and stuff like that. So I would say that was like probably the first time.
Yeah, and that was probably only show that I can recall up to this point is where our characters, like you say, interacted to the point where we could show all our like I don't know how to say it, but it's that was the only show I think that I can think of, because even all the shows that we've done at MVT for Matsumoto shows, there's so much characters, there's so much scenes, and we may interact for a split second or whatever. But Ala Park, we were the main. There was 4 of us that were the main characters,
including Mike Ng was one of the
Mike
one of
one of
yeah.
the main characters as well. And so we grew up. We were like, was it post World War II, and we hung out around Ala Park and stuff. So it's these kids growing up in that time. And Ray Bumatai was the narrator, and he's older, and he's reminiscing about how it was, because one of the main characters played a younger version of his character. So it's just a really cool, and you know what? Props to Ray Bumatai, because if it wasn't for Ray, I don't think Daryl and I would ever audition for anything at MVT, because he, right after we did that with him, he actually was gonna direct Tony and Tina's wedding. MVT.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, you guys really need to, we want to cast a local family, and you guys gotta come out, and so he and I both went out, and we both didn't get in.
We never get in. And we were like asking him at all apartments, like, how can we never get in? Like, never have enough locals to make one family. But no, it was a good time, but it was a lot of fun.
It's good. So kind of my last couple questions for you folks. This is going to be for individuals, but so Jay, would you consider yourself a sneakerhead?
Oh shoot, that's like an understatement. So I've been posting a lot of stuff, like videos, and like I do these commentaries about what's been going on, current events and stuff like that. And in the morning time, my room is the best place to set up, because the sunlight isn't really hitting my room yet, so it's good. But I have in my room, like right now, I have 2 racks of 40 pairs of sneakers each.
Wow.
And I went to one of my storage lockers and found probably about 60 boxes of sneakers that I've never worn. I have 3 lockers. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's an understatement. Addiction I need intervention, I think. So.
Brad just posted in the private chat, I Imelda.
Yeah, I get that all the time. I get the Imelda joke all the time, but I don't know. It's just some people drink all day or smoke crack. I collect sneakers, so I think it's a fair trade-off.
I think so too. It keeps you off the streets, not smoking smack. So
yeah, for real.
Keep them on. And for Daryl, this is probably one that a lot of local people would know. Your iconic line from Beyond Paradise, Mark Thompson. What was it like working with that film?
That was so much fun. We had so much fun. And that was like my first movie, first thing like that kind of style. And so it kind of spoiled me, because we had such a good time and doing that movie. So not one bad experience, but it was fun because I got to play. You know what I mean? So like anytime, I as an actor, I like to play around. I stay to the script, but I like to play around and stuff like that. And they gave me that freedom to play around, and by doing that, I came, I ad-lib lines like Mark Thompson, and it becomes, the line. Then they add them in the script. I was practicing them in a rehearsal, and I just was doing it to make the guy who played Zulu laugh in the background. And then he told the director what I was saying, and then I told him. And then like when we came to film the scene, it was in the script. So, and then the rest is history after that. Even the extras was trying not to laugh when I said it. And then when he said cut, the director was telling the extras, like, you guys can laugh. It's okay. You guys supposed to laugh. But, and it caught on. So, yeah, that was fun. I had a lot of fun doing Beyond Paradise. That's why, and that people liked it. That's even better. So that's cool.
All right. Well, thank you for you both coming on to the show today. and sharing your story, sharing your romance. Just take out the bro, put it all together, one romance. And yeah. Do you mind if I bring Kip in on this romance, or?
Oh,
I
that's
get it.
horrible. That's a little bit much. No, no, of course.
Please help us welcome back to the stream, Kip.
Hey, so
Hey, well,
guys, sweet. My goodness. I don't speak Pidgin. I speak Southern, and I can do that too. So, all right. Listen, thanks, guys. That was really fascinating. Really entertaining, and it's a great perspective on Matsumoto's work. And we're really looking forward to the next one, which will be in July. And I'm sure you guys will be in the cast. Well, you might audition anyway. Is that right?
possibly.
So thank you again for being our guest today. And Dylan, wrap us up.
Thanks for having.
Thanks for having us.
So aloha to everyone at home watching. And don't forget that tomorrow, September 12th at 4 p.m., we're going to be hosting a live event with Kathy Song in conjunction with Bamboo Ridge Press. And she's going to be reading a assortment of short stories from her new book, All the Love in the World. So please don't forget to check that out tomorrow. Other than that, have a good day and see you folks next time.
Go Hawks! Woo!